Hey guys, it's a Jedi's point of view here, and today we're going to be going over another book. This is the Book of the Sith, and it is actually one of the more interesting books that I've read that's Star Wars, just because obviously the Sith are more interesting than the Jedi, as you can tell by the pages of the book. Everything is a little bit different in there. You can tell whose entries are which ones, and they all have their own style of paper and art on it, and I'm really excited to cover this book with you guys. There's a lot of interesting facts in here about the Sith, and I already finished my Jedi Path covering, so might as well cover the other side of the Force. And without further ado, let's just get right in there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and hopefully you enjoy this video. Alright, let's crack this bad boy open. So the first page, it has Luke here. He says, each recovered text has its own texture and size. We'll never know what the complete books looked like. These pages are all that remain. And it's nice and black, you know. We got to keep that Sith aura out there. Take my Mary Sue bookmark out of there. And we'll flip to the first page, which is another cool stylistic there. Book of the Sith. And it is Secrets from the Dark Side. The first page, it's your preface by Darth Sidious there. So he says, Luke comments as well. He goes, from the context, I believe Palpatine assembled this volume soon after declaring himself Emperor, or sometime around 19 to 18 BBY, which is before the Battle of Yavin. Luke also says, Emperor Palpatine kept many secrets in his storehouse on Wayland, including a chamber that went undetected until 24 ABY, so after the Battle of Yavin. So far, only Leia, Mara, and I know about this book. I want to make sure it's not dangerous before sharing it with the Historical Council. Luke. So that's pretty neat. Luke is probably the only person that's read this other than Sidious and all the other Sith. He's the only Jedi to have this in his hands. Sidious gets right in there. I have accomplished what no Sith has done ever before. I have destroyed the Jedi and subverted Coruscant. I sit on the throne of a new and unstoppable regime. I will reshape the galaxy into the great galactic empire according to my own design. The Sith have dreamt of this moment since the beginning of recorded history. I could not have achieved this prize without treading on the backs of those who came before. Exploiting the failures of others is the way of the Sith. Since my days as a young noble on Naboo, long before I joined Darth Plagueis and began my apprenticeship, I collected dark side lore. These rubbings of Sith tablets and untranslatable runic scrolls were coveted and traded on the black markets by cultists, collectors, and museum curators willing to defy the Republic's ban on Sith artifacts. And here Luke leaves another note, and he just says that the New Republic Intelligence wants to review this book, and as a favor to Wedge and Ilya, I've agreed I numbered the pages for NRI's reference. So the New Republic has read this book as well, so they should know how crazy good Palpatine is and that he isn't to be messed with. The very existence of this illicit trade confirms many vital truths. Rulers seek to control information. The powerful will do anything to hoard their power, and if something is forbidden, it is likely a thing worth knowing. I could agree on that. Getting these artifacts past the law officials and into my quarters on Naboo provided new lessons. True power brokers dwell in the shadows. Credits can buy anything, even intangible concepts such as access and silence. It is necessary to lie to achieve anything of value, and a skilled liar is nearly impossible to detect. So that's Palpatine in a nutshell. He lied for literally the entire prequel trilogy, but lying is never how you achieve anything of value. Just how you get stabbed in the back. Although my experience acquiring the text provided a practical knowledge of how treasures and secrets change hands, as well as the roles non-Force sensitives play in keeping the galaxy running, the actual dark side tombs deepened my knowledge on this ancient Sith. I realized that I had all the tools I needed to craft my own system of power, one that fused contemporary politics with Sith ideals. Damn. It's like Joe Biden right there. Under the tutelage of Darth Plagueis, I inherited the Sith archives, more than 1,000 years worth of teachings, passed in secret from master to apprentice. But what I learned was that only a handful of figures had ever truly advanced the cause of the Sith. Thus, I made it my goal to recover their most famous writings, not the revisions of misguided chroniclers who lived hundreds of years after them, but the parchments bearing their original words and recorded by their own hands. With the fall of the Jedi Temple, I have finally recovered the last of these documents, though only fragments of each have survived the centuries. Together, these pages unite one of the first Sith Lords with he who shall be the last. Each author's voices echoes the era in which he or she held power, but the Sith Order has evolved over 7,000 years, The errors made by my predecessors will not be my own. Their triumphs will be nothing compared to my omnipotence. At the time I wrote these words, I hoped my empire would provide limitless reach, yet I must still rely on others to do my bidding, and they are so often foolish, flawed, and disappointing. Sidious. So that is his preface to the Sith, the Book of the Sith, and then you flip the page into the New Truths. And I love this design, by the way, the page design. Sidious does have style. He's a man of style, that's for sure. So let's see what Luke said here first. He leaves a nice comment there. You can see his writing on the side. He goes, the Dark Jedi exiles reached Sith space circa 7000 BBY, following the 100-year darkness. Soraya Sin's writings appear to have been recorded at several points over the subsequent years. The comments of Yoda and Mace Windu are difficult to pin down, but most likely date from before the Battle of Naboo in 32 BBY. So Mace and Yoda had this book as well. That's kind of interesting. I guess because it was in the control of the Jedi during the Republic there, during the Clone War. The New Truths. Every holocron I've studied and every new dark side cult simply restates the teachings of the Sith encapsulated in these texts. But sources Sin, Darth Malgus, Darth Bane, Mother Talzin, and Darth Plagueis believe too rigidly in their own dogmas. If any of them could have met and shared their beliefs, they would have found little common ground. I have bound the recovered pages from the works of these great Sith lords in one volume. These relics are unique and irreplaceable. They are the Book of the Sith. Sources Sin's chronicle of the rise of the Sith Empire is the oldest text by many thousands of years. She was a dark Jedi banished into exile following their failed war against the Jedi. Sin was exceptionally adept at twisting life through Sith alchemy. The Jedi kept these pages locked in their archives, but I reclaimed them after the cleansing of their temple. Regrettably, I could not remove the scrawls left in the margins by Jedi Masters Yoda and Mace Windu, while the text was in their possession. The excerpts from the Journal of Darth Malgus, kept during the Great Galactic War some 36 centuries ago, are a prime example of how a wounded warrior can be sustained by rage. The war was an unbound success for the era's Sith Emperor, and Malgus was one of his best soldiers. I obtained this text many decades ago from a dealer in antiquities and have recently passed it to Darth Vader so he might gain inspiration. That's interesting because Malgus was injured severely. He needed a breathing apparatus just like freaking Darth Vader did, so that's cool that Sidious wrote that in there. I forgot he even said that. Darth Bane's Rule of Two was a keystone in the Sith Order for centuries. The Battle of Ruusan nearly a millennium ago would have ended the Sith Order had Darth Bane not reconstructed it to it as a diarchy operating from the shadows. So him and his apprentice just chilling back, doing their own thing. His writings became part of the Sith archives passed down from master to apprentice for generations. During the Clone Wars, my servant Count Dooku shared the book with Jedi agent Quinlan Voss in an ill-conceived effort to lure and corrupt him. Count Dooku's failure is no longer important, for my clone troopers rectified that breach and eliminated Voss while carrying out Order 66. That phrase is underlined there, and Luke comments and goes, happily the Emperor seems to have gotten this one wrong. I've read accounts that Quinlan Voss survived and went into hiding during the Dark Times. So that's cool. Most texts I recovered were penned by Sith, but Wild Power by Mother Talzin relates to another dark side group, the Night Sisters. Although Talzin's text expounds on her misguided reverence for nature spirits, it does possess a shrewd pragmatism I admire. Nice. She is very crazy, so... The members of her Night Sister clan became merchants for the galaxy's finest dark-side mercenaries during the Clone Wars. Asajj Ventress, a Night Sister by birth, who served Count Dooku until I ordered otherwise, appears to have added her commentary after she slinked away to Dathomir to become a member of the tribe once more. One of my inquisitors recovered this book while raiding the planet to capture 4 sensitive slaves. My master, Darth Plagueis, recorded his own musings on what he believed to be the true nature of the dark side. Although he had a fatal blind spot, he revolutionized Sith understanding of the relationship between biology and the Force. The pages of this text still bear the comments I made after taking Darth Plagueis' place as master and making his possessions my own. The stories of the previous author ended, but my reign is just beginning. By melding the core truths of the dark side found in these texts, I have set forth the book of anger, the weakness of inferiors, and the manipulation of life. These established in true knowledge of the dark side and make plain the task required to implement a Sith order. And then there's lots of comments on this page. As you can see, there's tons of scribbling on the right side here, if it'd like to focus. But there's Luke and Sidious talking back and forth here. So Sidious leaves a comment and says, "As my skill has deepened, I realize the applications of the Force are infinite. In time, these 3 books will become the cornerstone of my multi-volume dark side compendium." Nice, dude. Palpatine completed these volumes, or at least made a lot of progress during my time on Biss. I saw his manifesto in the records library, but only partial copies seem to have survived Biss's destruction. Luke also leaves another note here. It's a weird one. He says, "Darth Plagueis' text may date from roughly 45 BBY, but that's only an educated guess. His death may not have occurred until the Battle of Naboo in 32 BBY. And it is still something of a mystery how Palpatine came to study the ways of the Sith under him." Which it is. They haven't covered it in canon yet. So that's the preface of the Book of the Sith. I think I'm going to call this one here. And there is Exile and Arrival up next, which this is Source's Sin. So the first Sith, somebody who created the Sith Order, basically. Flip a couple pages. So the first Great Schism. The art in this book is just amazing, too. Like, look at this. 100-year darkness. This massive freaking beast, whatever that even is. 4 eyes, shitloads of teeth. The Sith taking them on. I love it. And then the proud people of the Sith. So this next chapter is all about the ancient Sith. And then we get into Sith weapons. So I'm going to cover that one in the next video here. Sith amulets. Houses of Power. So it gets right into there. It's all this crazy deep lore about just the Sith people. But I hope you guys enjoyed that video. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll be making a second video today. I'm just going to read some more of this book as well. I'm really loving these Star Wars books. I have 2 more that I'm going to cover as well. The Imperial Handbook and the Bounty Hunter's Code. And I haven't read those 2 yet. I've read through this one, obviously. But I just think that I should share this with you guys as, you know, knowledge is power. But may the Force be with you, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.